Would you guys like to pick up where we left off last week?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, to recap, our illustrious companions, a trio that we were introduced to last week in 80, Mira, and Violet, also known as Vi, they are from the canal city of Orlustran in the Grand Valorian Imperium, a interesting place, to say the least, that offers different perspectives on social order and magic than perhaps other fantasy lands that you have encountered. We got to meet our companions and find out a little bit about them, including some perhaps juicy, dramatic tidbits about their past that I'm sure will get elaborated on in the future at some point, if anything, because I just love embarrassing my players with the riches that they have given to me. And our trio of adventurers came together last week for a special event here in the Imperium. The skies were alighting with a meteor shower set to almost black out the night sky, so to speak. And they sought the most auspicious and perfect place from which to watch said meteor shower. With perhaps a little bit of alcoholic courage, they ventured their way to the grandest cathedral in all of Orlustran, belonging or part of a arcane academy of sorts that young Mira attends, and that good Violet has infiltrated on more than a few occasions for the grand views from the towers of this place. They decided to use it to watch said meteor shower. And after making the climb, doing their best to remain as stealthy as possible, going unnoticed, thanks in no small part to the joyous skills that Violet brought to the table, they managed to make their way up this grand tower of towers and find said perch. They watched as the meteors darted across the sky, first one, and then a dozen, and then hundreds, and then countless number that flew across the horizon, blotting out everything that they could potentially see beyond. And there was a special meteor, one that 80 caught sight of. It had a bit of a blue halo to it, whereas the rest were much more purple and red and orange and the like. This one stood out to 80, although it was very difficult to see. And thanks to her keen eyes, she was able to show Mira and Vi this beautiful little mark darting its way across the heavens. And then it seemed to change. It started moving oddly compared to the rest of the meteors. It started diverting a little bit away from the path that everything else was taking. It changed. Its hue became a little bit brighter, and it seemed to fall from the heavens, falling towards the landscape. And as quick as you could possibly fathom, it seemed to be flying towards the nearby Storm Song Mountains. And just as it dipped away from sight, just as it crossed that line in which you could not see it anymore, a flare of sorts went up. A magical sigil formed in the air. A arcane rune, perhaps. One that Mira seemed to recognize. That, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're going to pick up in tonight's adventure. Violet, Mira, and 80, you all still stand on the precipice of hundreds of feet fall below you, gawking at the skies, seeing what you just saw. How would you respond to that?
Holy scud. Did you see that?
I saw it for a second.
It was so weird.
It was weird. Did you see the rune?
Yeah, but do you know what it means?
Yes, maybe I recognize it. I recognize it from Torrent's book.
Really?
Whose book?
An old
It's
friend
fine.
of our parents. I have one of his books. And it's written in a language that I don't understand, and I've been working on it for years and years, just trying to understand what's in it, and haven't made much progress, but I recognize the symbol.
Vi, you might want to gain your bearings a bit, but I have to tell you, Mira stole this book. Pilfered.
No
I mean-
way.
Unbelievable.
Yes, kind of.
I'm just teasing.
Mom hadn't looked at it for a long time. I didn't think she'd miss it. I don't know. It was for you. I stole it for you. I mean,
Oh my
not
god.
for you to use, for me to use, but anyway. Yes, I fucking stole the book.
See? She's cool, right?
Yeah. Just a little weird to be like studying it for years and years, but it's pretty cool.
I don't know. It's in some other language. I don't know. But
But that wasn't a meteor. That had to have been something else.
no, yes, I think so. I have worked out a couple of the symbols in the book, and I think it was a symbol for help.
Oh.
Do you
Do we-
think somebody was asking for help and sent that?
Yes.
Well, do you think anybody else saw it? I know even we had a hard time with it, but I don't know that there's another angle here that anyone else could have seen it.
Yeah. And I don't know who else would recognize it even if they did see it.
But you think it meant that they were asking for help?
I think so. I could be wrong, but
See, this is a bit of a pickle because we can't go and tell somebody that we saw this thing from up here where we're not supposed to be.
yep.
So, how did the both of you feel about a little adventure? Like going to see it?
Yeah, I'm always down.
It's not close.
Yeah, but it's close enough.
I guess.
And I know a guy that lives outside of the city that might know the way around and might be able to help us get there. My
Which guy?
buddy Jawline. I talk about him quite
Oh,
often.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
His name is Jawline?
Yeah. Wait till you see his jawline, you'll get it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, so we find Jawline and head out there? Are we doing this? This is gonna be fun.
But I have class. I have.
What if
hate
you-
that? Don't give me that look.
What if you're really sick?
I hate to use this one on you again, Mira, but the first tenement of Orlemus is
Illuminate the arcane. Maybe if I talk to one of my professors and see.
And tell them what?
No, he's.
Tell them that we saw a thing from up here, and it's related to a
Here's
book
the
that
thing,
you stole.
I just talked to him today about how I'm behind on work, and he was telling me that I can do it. That I can. Not
Well, of
push
course you
through,
can.
But, like.
Well, is this not like considered extra credit?
I mean, I could use extra credit at this point.
Well, okay, I don't want to fuck up school for you. Truly. I definitely want to do this thing, but we shouldn't.
I mean,
I
I'm curious. I want to know. I want to know if there's more clues I can find to help me with the book. I want to know.
And what if these people that need help can't communicate with us and you're the only person that can translate?
Well, that's a stretch. I know one rune.
maybe it's exactly the rune that we need to know.
I mean,
Just to clarify, Deb, Mira does not possess the book right now, right? It's at home. It's not on her person.
It's not. Yes, it's not up on the cathedral with her. It's at
Okay,
home.
just checking.
Yeah.
Just checking.
How about we all just go meet at Jawline's farm? You know, we can all cut it up there and come up with a plan. And if you want to go back home, that's fine. But at least, you know, we can all talk about it together and see if it's something we want to do.
You mean like right now?
Yeah, why not?
I mean, it is kind of nighttime. Do you think they'd mind?
I don't know, to be honest, but I don't think he'd care.
How do you know this person? How well do you know them?
Jaw? Oh, sorry.
For what it's worth, if you did go to your friend's farm tonight, you would get there around the crack of dawn.
Yeah. Farmers wake up early,
It's not,
so
yes, but you would be traveling through the night, hoofing it to the farm. It's not adjacent to the city. It's close, but it's not adjacent.
Sure. I mean, we can take the night and sleep on it, but I'm probably going to go in the morning. Or even earlier than that.
If we go in the morning, I can at least leave a note for my professor. In
Just call him
case.
sick.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing.
I mean, it kind of is. But Mira, if you want to, maybe we can make this work.
What?
With school stuff? I don't know.
All right, so
I just don't want you to.
I need you to take a few
Do you-
steps back
do you-
here. What's the deal with your professor? What is he needing from you? Are you supposed to be in a certain place at a certain time, or is it like?
I have class. I mean, I have a week until I have to be back for another convocation. But, like...
Do they take attendance?
Of course they do. Do you think I would go
Jeez.
otherwise?
Yeah, maybe.
To convocation.
Just because you do what you're supposed to do. Even when it's the
To
worst
a
thing.
certain point, I do. I would skip convocation. I've skipped convocation.
So bad. Listen,
Do either of you have paper on you?
no. Don't you?
No, why would I need paper for this?
I don't know.
Why would
you
we
need
pay for this?
Because If I had paper, then I could leave a note right now since we're already here.
You can try to etch into the label on this wine bottle if you'd like.
I'm sure we could sneak into the cathedral and find a desk that has paper and then sneak to the office.
Dude, I haven't had to work in here before. All right. I know where to go. If you can get me back through to the main part of the cathedral,
of course.
I know where to get some paper.
Cool. All right, let's go.
Let's do it.
By the way, you know this, I don't actually follow Orlumis. I'm here for the magic, not the religion.
I know. I'm just teasing you. It's so easy to do. Man.
Yeah, you definitely shouldn't have told me that.
Because... Listen, new girl. I just don't know you that well. And 80 thinks you're cool and has vouched for you.
Whoa.
Keep it together.
Hey, your sister's kind of cool.
I know that. I'm very glad that you're both enjoying this because I'm a little uneasy by it all, frankly. Glad that you're together. Some of my favorite people. Still kind of weird. Can we get off of this roof, please?
Absolutely. Vi jumps
Okay.
off. Just jump off.
Does Vi jump off the cathedral?
Jumps off.
Is that what you just said? Because if you say yes, that's going to happen.
No.
Okay. So, Violet does lead the two of you back down the way that you came. You find that it's actually a little bit easier to swing down into the window than to climb up out of the window and onto the roof when you connect with that one turret that is not very frequently used. And you find your way into Occam proper. Where does Mira lead everyone?
Mira has had to do some various tasks around the cathedral and around Occam as part of her studies. They have to assist some of the clerics in the cathedral, and so she knows a couple of places where she can get a spare scrap of parchment and a quill, and she writes a quick note to Professor Evander, just saying that she might need a day or two to follow up on a potential side project for class.
Okay. Now, granted, Mira and 80 spent the majority of their childhood in Orlostrin before moving away and then returning not too long ago. How familiar do you think Mira... Well, you know what? Just roll a history check. Let's turn it into a roll. Roll a history check for me.
Great. I will do that. $23.
Nice. As Mira is writing this note, it occurs to her very acutely that it's going to be more than a day or two, for sure. The Siltwood, which is the this entire area is kind of swampland, and the Siltwood is the dense forest that is north of Orlostrin, that is between the city and the Stormsong Mountains. That alone will take a day or two to traverse through. And you have no idea where in the mountains exactly you're going to go. And the Stormsong are big, and there's some dangers there. So certainly if this jawline individual has some, expertise in that field, that will be useful, but you might make it back for convocation.
Mira's gonna say just a couple of days, and just hope.
She pauses as she's writing a day or two and contemplates.
Couple days at most, and hope that he thinks that maybe something happened to her that prevented her from coming back earlier than that. She doesn't want to say like, I'm going off on an adventure and I'll be gone for a week or two. She's trying to minimize the whole thing.
Got it.
As
Is she also trying to minimize for herself?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I can tell. And once you're done writing,
actually, this might be a good opportunity to present something for 80, because I feel like with the alcohol consumption and with the emotions that are going on in Mira right now, what is Mira feeling emotionally?
Mira is a weird mix of excitement and like dread, because she has been so concerned about school recently, and she knows that taking this sidetrack could derail her schooling, and so she's really nervous about it.
I know.
How does 80 respond to that intense emotional wave from Mira that she feels?
I'll let you finish writing, and as soon as you set down the quill, I'll just put my hand over yours and look at you. We don't have to do this. Truly.
I think we should.
Yeah, but you've been working so hard. I don't want to fuck things up for you.
When I met with Professor Evander today, I thought he would tell me to push through. I'm not doing great right now with school. I actually am failing a lot of my classes.
I mean, I knew that you were having a hard time. Okay. Well, what do we do?
Professor Evander was so cryptic when we met. He told me that the other instructors were worried about my progress, but he didn't seem to want me to just hunker down and do what I'm supposed to.
Okay.
This might fuck everything up, but I think we should go.
If you change your mind at any point, we can turn around, and that'll be that. No questions. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
I know you're really excited about this.
I'm so excited. This is going to be absolutely bonkers. Whew. You ready to meet Jawline?
Jawline, yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right, Violet. Get us out of here without being seen, please.
So before you do that, I'm assuming that you all go by Professor Evander's office.
Yep. I'll just slip it under his door.
Okay. And so as you begin to find your way out of the cathedral, out of Occam, I guess you had left the cathedral to go to Occam anyway. Are you attempting to secretively escape this place? Because there's a lot of people around that had gathered for the meteor shower, and the meteor shower is long since done at this point. There was some people that had kind of lingered. There was still some after celebration and whatnot. Some of the late night crowd, so to speak, or those that had just imbibed a little bit too much alcohol and didn't want to leave, kept the party going. Are you trying to blend in with those people, or are you trying to sneak your way off of or out of this district and head home? What you doing?
I think we could try to blend in.
Yeah,
I can fool my way around enough now that we're back on the ground. That I've just been like showing my sister and her friend some of the buildings at night.
Okay.
On the outside.
All right. I need for the three of you to please roll d20s for me. No modifiers, just roll a d20. Hey, those are some good rolls.
Heck yeah.
18 for me.
16.
The 6.
Nice. Got a nice average to it. It's pretty good. So question for you then, as you head out from the Sanctum Academus district and find your way to a gondola to head off, are you returning? Where are you going? Are you returning to Mira and 80's place? Are you guys splitting up? Are you heading off to Vi's place? What's the plan here?
Well, we don't have anything. We're going to have to at least stop at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, 80, you know the way to my place. You can, with you can just grab your stuff. You can just meet me at mine, and then we'll all go to Jawlines together.
Yeah. Okay. Are we sleeping at all, or are we just rocking and rolling?
I mean, we can take a quick sleep and then leave at like, I don't know, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. He wakes up pretty early, so.
Sure. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right, see you guys later.
All right. So you split up. Vi headed back, taking the long gondola route. Your gondola driver is not overly pleased. A, the fact that it's a late work night, and B, you are almost the farthest away that he could possibly have gotten a passenger for. And so they don't get there quickly, we'll say. Nobody is overtly like throwing you any kind of animosity or anything like that, Vi, which is probably a nice change of pace. But you're also very quickly the only person on the gondola, whether or not you don't know whether or not that's because those individuals, were supposed to get off when they did, or if they just didn't want to be riding in the gondola with you. You very quickly find yourself and the gondola driver silently making your way through the canals. It's made also a little bit more difficult by the fact that, you're upstream, all the way upstream. And as you near Old Town and the Shallows, the gondola driver politely asks if you would mind being dropped off for one of the chain ferries, because it's very difficult for the gondolas to cross the river. And so he drops you off for a chain ferry to make your way into the Shallows. Mira and 80, you very easily are able to make your way back to the artifacts quarters. You find that the quarters are still vibrant and alive despite the late hour. There is partying and festivities taking place. As you near your apartments, you find
Crowbar?
Pardon?
Crowbar?
You do find Crowbar, but you also find Mr. Babineau outside of his place, just like asleep in a chair. And there is a half-empty bottle of wine next to him. Crowbar is like curled up in his lap. The cat like lifts his head and looks at you as you find your way to the front of your place. Yeah.
Okay, I feel like, though, that we would cork up his wine and, like, lead him into his home. I'm not leaving this poor man sitting on his porch.
Okay. He's mostly out of it. He definitely has been drinking quite a bit, but he's extremely pliable and easy to maneuver into his place. You have long since learned where he keeps the spare key to lock his door as you make your way back up to your place. You gather your things, whatever possessions that you care to take. Do you discuss anything as you do this, and then head back out to find a gondola to Vi's barge?
So, like, what do you pack for something like this? Everything? Nothing.
I mean, I think we're gonna have to carry stuff, so like not everything, but not nothing.
Well, okay.
I think I have to take the book. I think that's
Sure.
food? Do we need food? I don't know.
Jeez, I didn't even think about that. Oh gosh. Okay. All right. We'll make a list. We'll write it out because we can't forget anything. This will be fine. How many pairs of shoes do you think we can get away with bringing? Just like if they get wet or something. I'm not like...
You bring some and I'll bring some and we can switch when we get annoyed with them. It'll...
You hate wearing my shoes. They're
I
too
know.
We're going on a hike. We need to accessorize.
It's not that. It's, climbing shoes and hiking shoes.
Shoes for the swamp. Some of them are going to get muddy.
Swamp shoes. Yes.
Slippers for camp.
Bib waders. Yes. Okay.
Kay brings up a good point. You need tap shoes.
Oh,
to
shit,
tap
that's
dance,
right.
Tap dance your way out of the trouble that you're going to run into.
Yeah.
Just in case you need to do a quick musical number.
Yeah. Bound to happen. Too bad we don't have a bag of holding. I would bring all the shoes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
Are your singing voices prepared for the musical episode?
No, not at all. All right, fine. We pack up with all of the appropriate gear, whatever that means. Yeah.
Yep. I guess we'll find or make what we forgot along the way.
We can always stop at Walgreens,
Yes. There's one on every corner.
Every corner. And you're sure about this?
As sure as I can be.
Okay.
Let's go
Okay.
before I change my mind.
Is
Done.
Nara actually sure? Like, is she conveying that the convictions of her emotional state?
Yes. I think
Okay.
I think 80 would feel that Mira seems like cautiously hopeful and optimistic. And also a lot of panic.
All right.
But it's fine. Everything's fine.
It's fine.
How long can you say that before you entirely crumble?
Implode. We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see. Be a fun experiment, yeah.
Well, you have a nice long gondola ride ahead of you to contemplate all of this as you also head towards Vi's home in the Shallows. Vi, Andrew, does Vi do anything in preparation for the arrival of Mira and 80?
No, Vi probably takes a nap to share and then packs some food and that's about it.
And so what does Vi's home look like on the outside, as Mira has never been here before?
It is a pretty large barge, but run down, absolutely crumbling, held together by rope and tape. You can tell that it used to be like almost a restaurant where there would be seating is just like bolts where the chairs used to be. There's a counter, but nothing behind the bar. And then there's like a hammock in the middle of it all. Behind the hammock is a door, and that's about it. It's permanently moored and roped to the side of a river, and it's where Vi lives.
Mira's fairly certain that if this thing became unmoored, it would just sink.
Absolutely.
She tries to be really positive. Like, oh, it's so nice.
It's not. You don't have to lie to me.
I mean, yeah, it's not great.
It has good bones, you know?
Does it though?
There's probably some people
Some bones.
somewhere in the closet here.
Sure. And calcium is a really good preservative. I tried to like put bones in some of my food, and it didn't taste great, but it worked. Food lasted like a few days longer. So good bones.
Yeah.
And on that note, you all take a nice long rest evening, falling asleep.
Quick question, Violet, at what point does your pet rat crawl over Mira's leg and freak her out?
As soon as she gets there.
Oh my god, what? Ew.
That's just Bandit. Bandit lives here with me. Bandit's a good friend of mine. I don't bring Bandit over because, Corkscrew lives with you guys or is next door or something?
Crowbar, yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't go very well, would it?
Yeah. So I leave Bandit at home. He watches the barge for me.
I pick him up because I love him. And I just look at my sister, who was totally grossed out.
And she feels so bad that she was grossed out because it's someone's pet. And she was like, oh, nice.
It's a gray rat with a black line across its eyes who looks like a little bandit.
Oh, that is so cute.
Man.
Okay, now we can go to sleep.
You get a few hours, and Mira and 80 are very, well, probably more so 80 than Mira, but you're more excited for this adventure that you're about to go on. And so you have a decision to make as Vi is completely 100% unconscious by the time that you were thinking you would want to leave. Now, granted, it's only been a few hours. Like, you don't really get a long rest out of this. You get basically a short rest and, a little bit extra. Do you wish to perhaps sleep in and venture out during daylight hours, get a few more hours of sleep, or are you going to wake up Vi and start the evening walk?
She's your friend. Do we wake her up? I feel like she doesn't get enough sleep.
I know. She's worse than you being woken up. Gosh.
Is she going to be mad, though, if we let her sleep?
That's a great question. I'll ask. I'll just ask. She can fall back asleep if she needs to.
Yeah.
I'll go over and is Vi in the hammock? Yeah, okay. I'll go over and I will push it like a swing
Here's a new thing potentially. What kind of dreams does Violet have? Or nightmares?
Violet has a lot of different dreams. She has dreams of when things were a bit more peaceful when she was younger. And then she has very chaotic dreams when she was a bit more of a rogue. And then she has a lot of nightmares of being left alone.
And so what kind of dreams is Vi experiencing right now?
Probably chaos, because she's thinking of going on another gig, of meeting with Jawline, who was an older associate of hers that she used to work with a lot. So probably a bit more chaos.
So as AD approaches Violet, there's an intensity to the emotions that AD feels. Go ahead and give me a wisdom saving throw, please, AD.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 19.
Okay. You have pretty firm control over it. You feel the intensity of the emotions that Vi is experiencing through whatever dreams that she is having right now. And it's jarring at first. There's a pause. Mira, you kind of recognize what's happening in 80. 80, your hair starts to kind of lift up a little bit and stand up on its own. There is a feeling of energy kind of coursing across your fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
But you tamp it down. You breathe in, you control it. It doesn't control you. And you can wake up Violet if you like.
I do, but rather than being a dick and shocking her awake, I'll just say, Violet, come on, wake up. And I'll put my hand on her ankle in just sort of like a firm hold, trying not to startle her, but like also I would love to end this dream if I can. And I'll just talk until hopefully she starts to wake.
Andrew?
So Violet kind of starts and like reaches towards her boot, and
It's
as
okay.
you can kind of see she's reaching for a knife in her boot, but then realizes it's you, and she just puts a hand on your hand. Like, what time is it?
It's still early. I just want to know, did you want to leave now as originally planned, or do you need more sleep?
You are dog tired. If you leave now, you're going to have a point of exhaustion.
How's Mira feeling?
She also does not like to be woken up, so I think you're both in the same boat. We can stay. I just wanted to check.
Well, I mean, I could use the sleep, and if Mira wants to sleep too, then
Yeah.
I don't see why not. You know, especially if we have to go through the woods and all that too.
Yeah. All right. Back
How
to
are you
sleep.
feeling, Ada? Do you need to sleep?
I'm too excited to sleep. Just kidding. I could definitely sleep. This is a lot, so
Okay. Yeah. Let's just sleep a little bit more.
okay. Are you warm enough?
Yeah. I think so.
Okay.
And she'll just kind of pull her hood up, make sure it's covering the side of her face and that she's warm.
Okay. Back to bed.
So you guys do manage to get a few more hours sleep. As suns rise, Mira, you awaken first because this is usual for you. 80, you're kind of thrown off a little bit because you were on the overnight shift and then you slept in the afternoon and then you had a really exciting evening and late evening, and so it was really hard for you to catch some sleep, but you managed to catch enough that you feel okay. You'll have to see how it goes if you're trudging forever to wherever this farm is, but right now you're feeling pretty good. Vi is still completely and utterly unconscious as suns rise. So is there anything that you all would like to do before potentially waking up Vi and heading off to Jawlines?
I would love to stop at one of the nearby food barges and maybe pick up...
Nearby is a bit of a stretch. You're in the shallows. The shallows are not the kind of place you want to be, especially if you're looking for food that's edible. You could cross the river and head over into Old Town, and it's a little bit better, on that side of the river. But where you're at on this side of the river, it is not pleasant. But if you head over into Old Town, you're going to be a bit. But that's fine. Maybe that's fine for you. Is there anything else that you would like to do while you're over there? And is there anything that Mira would like to do while Vi still manages to catch a few extra hours? Finish up her few extra hours.
I would definitely, before leaving, at least let Mira know. So, do you want food?
I'll always eat. You know me.
All right. I've got to cross, so it might be a minute, but... You good here?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It's me and Bandit. We'll bond or something.
I really love that for you.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I know. Hurry back.
All right.
Mira's gonna take out Torrin's book and turn to where she's gonna flip through it until she finds that rune again and just kind of try and figure out some of the pages around it and see if she's gotten any sort of illumination from seeing it in the sky.
Great. Go ahead and give me an Arcana check, please.
Not great. 11.
11. You don't find the spot that you were looking for. You're having a very difficult time remembering exactly, because you weren't really sure about those runes before. You just know the style of the rune that you saw. You're fairly certain it was like a distress sigil, something that people would use when they needed aid. And you kind of get a little bit lost in the book. 80, on the other hand, does not get lost. It's very easy to find the river barges, or the chain barges that take you across the river. This is the busiest part of town as suns rise. And so, there's plenty of people just getting started with their day. There are more than a few food carts and such that are preparing to head into the deeper parts of Orlustran, that you're able to find pretty much anything that you need for only, a few copper and maybe a silver. It's very easy for you to get a good breakfast. And so by the time was there something else?
I was just going to say, I would really love to find some enormous bodega breakfast sandwiches. That's what I'm imagining bringing back.
Okay, sure. No
Yeah.
problem. There's a little bit of a wait to get them, but was there anything else that you were looking to grab before heading back to the barge?
Coffee and breakfast sandwiches. And I'll just listen to conversations, probably end up talking to people too, because that's what I do. And then just head back.
You meet a dwarf named Bodega who makes these sandwiches and has some really, really, really nice coffee in the sense that it is strong and black, and you wake up just sniffing it. That's how strong it is.
Awesome.
And so you eventually, it takes you probably a good hour or so round trip to be able to do this. The chain barges are getting busy and such, but you do find your way back to Vi's home, and as you come down the ladder, the rickety ladder that kind of leads into the hull of the barge, you see Mira lost in the tome once again, just turning pages and kind of this glazed over look in her eyes as she's going through all of this, very frustrated about all of the things in it that she cannot understand.
I think that she would probably know that I'm there before seeing me or hearing me or anything, because I feel like there would be like a rush of like mild annoyance, but just like affection at seeing this very classically Mira thing happening. Even, fucking around on a rickety barge in the shallows. But I'll head up, and whether she acknowledges that I'm there or not is fine.
Okay. Here's a curiosity question. This just popped into my head, and I don't think it has occurred to you, and maybe it wouldn't occur to 80, so maybe this goes nowhere, but would 80 let Phelan know?
No!
Because she's ostensibly supposed to report to work day after tomorrow?
Fuck that, I don't care.
Okay. All right. I didn't think so. I
don't want to work there anyways, man.
That is the right choice.
I'm just checking.
Worth asking. I get it.
I don't know why you guys are hating on Phelan so much. You had me make art for them.
It's principle, okay? Yeah. If things end up going, I don't know, in a different direction, I'll adore them again. But
Right. Yeah.
not right now.
All right. I just love the dichotomy in the NPCs that you guys have. There are certain NPCs that you love and adore, and
Totally
there's certain
yeah.
NPCs that you wish death upon. And you were the ones that wanted them.
I don't wish death upon Phelan. We were good friends. It's just,
It's the principle of the thing.
it's the principle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mira is very quickly taken out of the daze of words and sigils and things that are beyond her ken by the smell of hot black coffee and some sandwiches. Very shortly thereafter, Vi awakens as well. You have a solid breakfast, wake up pretty quickly. Vi, when you realize what time it is, this probably stresses you out a little bit in that this is way later than you wanted, and you just have to hope that Jawline is at his farm by the time that you guys get there. Nonetheless, you have your breakfast, you start your journey. Now, given where you guys are currently at, you do have to cross back into Orlustran, because there's it's probably going to be difficult for you to find a riverboat heading north, which is where you would have to go to get to Jawline's farm. So you cross back into Orlustran. It takes probably a good hour for you to get out of the city through one of the north passages and start your walk along the canal line of the city and then along the river line. You see the Siltwood off to your right as you head north and west. You see the fog and mist coming off of the thick trees from it. And there's a sense of foreboding in it that would cause anyone pause. Have any of you ever been in the Siltwood before?
Nope. Heard lots of stories, but haven't been there.
It's a spooky place.
It is a fair bit spooky. You see some movement in the canopy of it every now and then. It's covered by the mists and the fog that you're like, did I see that? Did you? Was there? And then you dismiss it and continue on your way. As the afternoon creeps in, your feet a little bit sore. 80's probably less so than the others, as 80 tends to work jobs where she's on her feet all day long. But even 80 is, feeling the soreness on her feet a little bit as you trek a pretty good distance away from Orlustran. You are probably only a few hours away from sunset, and you have passed many, many a farmstead on your way. It takes hundreds of farms to feed the city of Orlustran, and there are more than that surrounding it, as one of the chief exports of this region are the products that come from the various farmsteads around the city. Every time you see a house in the distance on one of them, you're thinking, oh, is this where we turn? And Vi just keeps walking. And then you go for another hour. Oh, surely, nope. Vi just keeps walking until you find yourselves probably close to the edges of the farmlands, at least the farmlands that would call themselves Orlustran. And Ian, could you please describe Bren's farm for us?
Yeah. So this mostly happens towards in the morning, but in the later evening, there's like a small, like little fog haze that kind of surrounds the area of his farm. It's a very one-person cabin that has like a mossy type roof for like insulation. And when you guys approach, you can definitely see like a little bit of smoke coming out, like as if there's like a fire that's set. It's super homey. There's like a small fence. There are like small animals that are just kind of hanging out and feeding. And it's the end of the day for Bren, because I mean, he's been up way super early, and he's inside his home, so he's not outside, he's not sitting. But it's quaint, but it's almost a little scary. It's like you kind of think to yourself, what are we about to walk into? So
and I think you and I discussed he mostly farms rice, right?
Yep.
In his farmstead. Yeah. So you guys can see that there is a nice fresh recently planted array of rice. You're not due to harvest for a few months. That's one of the interesting aspects of farming in Ysterra. As the seasons are so long, you get several yields between the end of one winter and the beginning of the next. Like you will plant and harvest probably 3 or 4 times. Maybe even 5 in a good farming season across the 3 years basically of time that you have. And so you just finished a fairly good yield in your first planting since the winter. Usually one of the hard and difficult things coming out of the winter, but you're feeling pretty good about your crops. You don't have a whole lot to take care of right now. This is kind of a relaxing period for Bren. And so as the three of you walk along the road leading to Bren's farmstead, 80, having the best passive perception of all of you, you spot several of these scurrying animals and such, and you're fairly certain you see an almirage among one of the animals, and as soon as it spots you, it starts immediately bolting towards the back of the farmstead.
That's very exciting for me.
I can't wait.
I would definitely. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I would definitely smack Mira's arm and say, "You just missed it.
What?
There was an Almirage."
Really?
Yeah, it was so cute. Maybe we'll see more.
I can't wait for you guys to meet Jawline. He's super old, but he's my uncle. He's basically like my uncle.
How do you? We're really far out there. Like, how do you know him?
He was our fence. So anytime we would do the smashy, grabby, stabby type stuff, whatever we grabbed, Jawline would know what it was and know how to sell it and how to get rid of it, and then we would split the money.
I can hear voices.
Oh.
You might as well just let me know you're here.
Jawline! And she'll just run towards the farm.
Just like super yelled out. You see Brent opens the door and he just kind of looks and yeah, like Violet said, he's an older gentleman. But this man has been working on a farm for a very long time, and you can tell. Stark, like silver hair, kind of like the farmer tan skin because he's outside, most of the time, whether it's working or just, around on his farm. And yeah, he just pops the door open. He's like, "Oh, hey, you actually came at a good time." And he like takes a rag off his face. "I was processing some stuff. I didn't expect you for a while though."
"Oh, that's fine. I actually, here, try this." And then she'll take out one of the dumplings she made yesterday. It's like, I made this with the jam from your last yield. You should try it."
"Oh, nice. Yes. So, yeah, I haven't eaten today." "Okay. Yeah. No, I'll, yeah, this looks good."
And at this point, does Mira do anything as she recognizes Brent?
Yes. Mira, I think, would just kind of stand there and be confused about what is happening, and then think like, oh, thank God somebody brought you food. That's usually what I do. And now I'm looking around my person for like a pastry that I don't have, because that is Bren. You're Jawline? What? I'm so confused.
Wait, you guys know each other?
Bren looks at Vi and he goes, "Jawline." Then he points towards Mira.
I mean, he's not wrong. She's not wrong.
It could cut glass, right?
Yeah.
Look at that.
I hadn't thought of that before, but yeah. Bren and I are acquaintances.
I'm happy to see that you're upright by yourself.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
You remember my sister 80?
I do.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Wait,
No,
you know him too?
Well,
We met once. He was very helpful. It was kind of a quick hello. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't need to talk about that, though. It's fine.
It's fine.
Anyway.
Wait a second. No, you
I don't want to
absolutely
talk
do.
about
Wait
it.
a second. What is
It was
what?
actually, it was funny. It's Zach. I don't.
It was something.
Yeah, this one I found, or I stumbled upon in a weird situation. She was a little a little under the weather. Local tavern,
Yeah.
crazy kids stuff. Did you happen to fix that with that person? No? Yes? Come on in. Just come on. Just everybody
Mhm.
is
We knew each other
let's get
before
into
that.
it.
I see Bren all the time in the sculpture garden, and we just kind of got to know each other. And I bring him pastries from my favorite pastry shop, or ones
Very,
that
very
80s
kind.
made sometimes, but more often I'm on my way from class and
Surprised to know
This is
that
very
you all
fun for me.
know each other.
This is a lot. Yesterday I was in class, and now I'm here, and you know each other, and okay. Yep, here we are. Great.
Brings me to my question, and hopefully everybody's like inside now. Why are you all here?
Yeah, so yesterday we were just hanging out. We were on top of the cathedral watching the meteor shower, as we do, you know.
You do.
And we saw something weird. Mira, being the expert in everything weird, said that there was a call for help. And I thought that you might be able to kind of lead us to wherever the weird thing was. I'm sure Mira can explain it a lot better than I can. Or 80, I don't know.
Something
That was
crashed in the mountains, possibly. It looked like a meteor, but then it definitely did not look like a meteor. And then there was a symbol that popped up that, of course, Mira knows. And I don't think anybody else could have seen it from where we were. Possibly illegally, but, you know. And I did not know that we were coming to see you, but Violet said that her good friend Jawline, love that for you, by the way.
He looks
Could
over at
maybe
Violet
help.
again. We're just letting everybody know this. No, okay.
Oh, is that supposed to be secret?
I mean,
I don't know anymore.
it's like
Okay.
when you're part of a gang or a thieves guild or whatever, we go by nicknames or call signs, so then when we talk about people we know, then we don't actually use our real names. But you guys already seem to know each other.
I'm not part of a thieves guild. I'm just an old man here. Okay. So again, why are you want me to look at a sign, a symbol? And like he sits down in his chair and it's very like, okay.
Not exactly.
He does the old man sit. Yeah, he's like, yeah, I know that one very well.
So you want me to look at a symbol, rubbing his knees? He's like, all right. Where's the symbol?
Well, here's the thing. It was in the sky and then it disappeared, and I know it was in this book that I have, and I can't find it right now. We're going looking for the thing that we think crashed. So, would you like to come with us?
Okay, hold on. So, top of the cathedral,
Mm-hmm.
watching the meteor shower,
Mm-hmm.
you saw something that crashed into the mountains.
Well, it was like, so it looked like it was part of the meteor shower at one point. I don't know, 80 saw it first, and it was like, it had this blue aura, and it looked really beautiful.
Yeah.
And then there was a flash of this rune in the sky, and I think that, based on my book, I think it was some sort of sigil asking for help or aid or distress. I don't know, not asking for distress, you know what I mean. So
And you
we're
guys
going-
decided to come to me for what?
well, Vi said that I didn't know that we were coming to you. She said Jawline, and so I assumed someone.
Well, you know your way through the woods and pretty well, and then I'm sure you could help us up the mountain. And then when we get to the thing,
Whoa.
you do.
Well, hold on. Shuffles in his chair. Okay.
He does this a lot.
know my way through the. So you would like for me to take you through the Siltwood into the mountains? What have you? You've been drinking. You've all been drinking.
Better? I don't know. It seemed like it crashed in the Storm Song Mountains, and so whatever the best
not
way
going
to get there.
is better. Yeah. Are you?
Well, here's the situation. We're going to go. So if you feel comfortable leaving 3 young, innocent girls to wander through the forest and mountains on their own, then I guess that's okay.
Okay, have fun.
Cool.
Yeah, I knew that wasn't gonna work.
I had to try.
It just Bryn looks over at Violet and goes, well, why here? Clearly you've all been drinking, right? It's, you know what? That's what it is. You were watching the meteor, you're on a hangover, and you decided to walk all the way the fuck out here to talk to me about going through the Siltwood and into the mountain. Come on. Do you guys know? You obviously don't know about the wood.
But you do.
That's the point. I do. It's not some jaunty trail to where you can go sightseeing. There are stories and things. It's known to be cursed. And if that's not enough, there are animals, there are beings in the woods. There's pseudo dragons, ambush drakes, and he kind of like rubs the side of his face because he does have like a claw mark across his eye. And that's when everybody knows, small glint and very bright purple color of his eyes. And he's like, the fauna there is meant to be magical and fine. It's nice. It's interesting, but it's not a place to go on a hike. And then you want to go into the mountains to find a sigil that disappeared.
But what if the people that sent up the sigil need help? We're fairly certain that we're the only people who would have seen the sigil.
In this moment, if I could interject here for just a brief pause. Deb, Mira feels a surge of inspiration in her mind. This discussion of everything causes a remembering. It causes memories of the sigil appearing in the sky, the blue halo of light of the meteor as it flew across the horizon, and the sigil kind of implants itself in her vision for briefest of moments. And she has this sense now that she knows where to look in the book.
She whips it out immediately and starts paging through.
Phrasing.
Whoa. Okay, you are children.
Ian, or actually Deb, why don't you describe this book as Mira takes it out and just sets it down on the table in front of her.
It's an older book bound in just sort of nondescript brown leather. The title on both the cover and the spine have sort of worn themselves away. And this book just looks worn and old and fairly nondescript. But you can see as Mira's paging through that there are a lot of different sigils and symbols in it and writing that looks strange. It's definitely not in common. And it just has this sort of weirdly compelling nature to it, despite its nondescript appearance.
Ian, I need for you to make a charisma saving throw for Bren, please. Bren, please.
$16.
Okay. You maintain full control of yourself throughout this experience, but all of a sudden, Bryn's vision, for just the briefest of moments, so maybe only 80, picks up on the slight pause and weirdness from Bryn at this experience. But Bryn, all of a sudden, looking at the book from the other side of the table, seeing it kind of upside down from his perspective, looking down upon it on the table, your vision changes to a different place, kind of hazy at the corners. You don't really know what you're seeing around you, but you have clarity on a similar table and a similar book, although this book is not quite so worn. It is black and has metallic binding and trim and support built into it, and there is writing upon it that matches very closely to the writing in Mira's book. And then as quickly as that vision appears in your mind, in what you see, it goes away, and you kind of blink for a moment, having just experienced a memory not your own.
Violet, could you go get me a wet towel, please?
I will scurry and go get a wet towel for Bryn.
Yeah, grabs it, puts it on the back of his neck, and he goes, Where did you get this book?
I stole it.
Okay, yeah.
It was my mom's, and before it was hers. It was a family friend's, and he had it, and he used to visit us a lot, and he kind of disappeared a long time ago.
They didn't steal it. You just maintain new responsibility of it.
Wait,
And
I'm sorry, what?
what?
What it?
No, it's not. I mean, if it's
What do
a
you
family
mean?
friend and it's now yours, you just.
I didn't take it with permission. My mom does not know that I have this book.
I'm sure she'll be fine.
What do you know?
I don't you know.
Jawline, you're like Mira and 80. Mira and 80, you're like Jawline. If you know what I mean. Like, Jawline, like you're like my mom, right?
How much do they know?
They don't know. Well, I didn't know they knew you till now.
Right.
But
Right.
I'm just trying to choose my words carefully right now.
I ask you leave that to me, at least for the moment. I don't know anything, and that is the honest truth. I get old man feelings. The weather changes, my knees buckle, that type of thing. Could the two of you wait outside for a moment?
Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I have, you know what, here, and he hands them a little small satchel of grain. Dude, I forgot to feed some of my animals, if you could.
Okay. Sure.
We feed the neighbor's cat all the time, so
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I guess when they exit, just looks at Violet and he goes, "What are you doing? What's going on?"
Well, we saw, it's exactly what we told you. We saw something crash. It seemed cursed. It seemed like something that you would know, and that's why we came to you.
This is not. I understand, and I appreciate your trust, but
And then Mira said they asked for help. Like, we can't not help something. Like, you know, if there are people there and they're cursed and they landed here or something and they asked for help, it's, you know.
I know. No, I understand. It's just not what I really expected in this time. It's especially with other people. If I let you know how I feel about all of this, it's not really easy.
I know. But, you know, I've gone to know 80 over the last year, and you know, she's told me that she can do a little magic too. She, you know, and she reminds me of my mom, and you remind me of my mom, and it's like, I think we should all like help each other, you know, and you know, Mira's in school studying magic and you know, is doing it the right way, but if somebody asks for help and there's a chance that there's cursed beings involved, I feel like we should, and to be completely honest with you, Jawline, I'm broke as a joke, and if there's anything that we could salvage and sell from this ship, like, I definitely desperately need money right now. I can't get a job, like you know, this is the only way for me to survive.
It's not the only way for you to survive, and you know that, but I understand. Fine, you're right. If someone needs help and we can help, we'll do our best. But Vi, you can't. Not everyone is as special as your mother was. And as hard as this is gonna sound, you're not gonna find her in everyone. And if you keep doing that, it's not gonna bode well for you. But I know where your heart is, and I understand. And fortunately, I do know these two, a little bit cross, but hearts are in the right place. Okay. Fine. Did you all pack for a trip? Like,
I saw a bunch of shoes. I don't know.
I saw that too. The tap shoes for what? Are we?
I don't know.
Not happening. Normal shoes. One pair of normal shoes.
Speaking of normal shoes, as Mira and 80 take this small like bag of what, like, just grain, or
Yeah, it was just grain.
like feed, just like grain and nuts and the like, and start. I mean, well, you guys step outside. What do you do?
That was something.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that we were going to be a problem coming out here.
I don't think we will be. I think Bren will come around.
You know better than I do. Let's go feed some animals.
What are we feeding?
I don't know. Do you know what he has?
No.
He's never talked about it?
He doesn't. We don't talk about his farm.
Really?
Which I didn't. If we did, I would have known where we were going.
Huh.
I mean, I knew he was a farmer. I don't know. The sculptures, the day, the pastries.
Cool.
Not that time that he helped me home from the bar.
I need to thank him for that. I mean, he's okay in my book. So.
Yeah. He's a lot.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think in that moment, kind of like how Shrek busted out of the outhouse in the beginning of the first movie, Glenn comes out and he's like, all right, okay. Oh, Jeez. Okay, listen. I'll take you on your hike. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun. And we don't have time to sightsee.
I think it might be a little fun.
It's not going to be easy. It's not going to... I can go back inside.
No, don't.
All right. We get to your spot where the sigil is. We do what we can. We turn around. We come back. That's it.
We'll do everything that you tell us to. We know that you're the expert.
Playing on my ego will help you every single time. Okay.
I know you.
So Bren
You guys
looks
pack-
up. Bren looks up at the sky as he says this and realizes that you're not leaving tonight. You do not want to start your way into the Siltwood in the evening hour. If you make good time, you would only need to rest in the Siltwood once, maybe twice, before you reach the Stormsong Mountains. And so your best bet is to set out early in the morning.
I think like before we leave, either in the morning or at night, I would love to try to like very specifically describe what we saw from our vantage point and like where we saw things, just to maybe help with wherever the hell it is we're going. So whatever we can offer, you know.
Go ahead and give me a perception check using intelligence instead of wisdom, please.
That's rude.
Why? I mean, someone could assist you if they said so.
Would have been nice. That's an 8.
Okay. Mira and Vi can both see 80 stumbling over her words as she's
I'm just gonna let her go.
Yeah, Vi is just cooking in the kitchen, and she's making a nice bowl of soup, maybe with some noodles. She's not there.
And Bren is just doing this. He's like,
Sorry, I'm very excited about this, and I'm not explaining it well. I know. Just ask them, I guess.
I mean, it's not an entire loss here. 80 does describe things sufficiently enough for Bren to know that if 80 has any true sense of what this was, you're definitely not going to the closest peak. You're going to have to go like around or slightly up and past the first of the peaks of the Storm Song before you'll probably see anything related to a meteor crashing into the side of the mountains.
okay. Yeah, we got quite a trek ahead of us. Yeah, it's best we get some rest. We get some sleep, and we'll start bright and early. We do that, we may not have to spend that much time in the Siltwood. Hopefully, yeah.
Great. Whatever you say, boss.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
I can call you Jawline if you'd rather.
Sits back down in his chair. One more night in the comfy chair. Please tell me it's like one of those giant, the leather is really worn, comfy chairs that anybody else sits in. Yeah.
If someone sat in it, there's like a very prominent indentation of like where he sits and his legs. Like, yeah, it's like somebody's Hollywood Walk of Fame hand. It's just his ass.
So you all sit down for a nice evening's meal. Ian, where's everybody sleeping tonight? Because I don't imagine, I don't know what, accommodations Bryn's farmhouse has.
He just looks around at everybody and goes, figure it out. And he goes back to his little area. It's like, Granddad's tired and he's going to go into his room unless somebody wants to talk or whatever.
I pull out my camping gear, lay it out.
Yeah, you guys have some very dusty camping gear from the caravan voyage that brought you back to Orlustran that you haven't used in more than a year.
Too real.
I lay my bedroll right next to 80 and just we don't sleep next to each other anymore. This is nice.
I mean, I would prefer not to sleep on the floor, but I'll take what
Well, yeah, but
Bryn comes out of the back room with some skins and he's like, there's what I got. It's just been me for a very long time.
Thanks. That's so
Just
nice.
plop them down on the floor.
Yeah. It's again, they'll keep you warm. They'll kind of cushion you a little bit. I'm sorry. I didn't expect guests.
No, this is great.
Okay. Anyone discussing anything as they faunt off to sleep? This is probably 80 is probably feeling it the most. I think 80 would probably fall asleep faster than anyone else. Vi is still probably feeling it a little bit. Mira seems fine through all of this. She has weird sleep schedules with school and all that. So
I think Mira and 80 would do the whispering at bedtime thing until 80 fell asleep.
I was thinking the same thing.
nice. As you all settle down for your evening's rest, sleep finds you at various stages, but it does find you. And it's different for it's different for Bryn as well, in that, he's not had guests in the farmstead for quite a while.
With that too, he's the last one to sleep because he's watching everybody. And when the die down and everyone's asleep, he's got a half smile and he just goes to bed.
All right. Sleep does find all of you. Bryn certainly wakes up first in the morning, farmer's hours. And Bryn, as you awaken and step out into the main room, you see the three of your companions laid out on the floor, sleeping in whatever awkward position that they ended up in from,
Starfish.
From the previous night. You catch just out of the corner of your eye as you open the door and walk in, the silhouette of a figure darting out of the room, leaping out of a window. You see its tail kind of linger on the window sill for just half a second before it darts away. Someone was investigating.
I grab my quarterstaff and I kind of around everybody, but go out and again, masked up. It's just a handkerchief across his face, fog dust things,
Mm-hmm.
And I want to try to pursue it as best I can.
Okay. Give me a perception check, and it's a disadvantage because this is still the early morning hours. It's not quite full light, and there's a distraction outside, which I will get to in a second.
Not one for a 5.
Oh, yeah. You are very distracted. It's not that you're old. You are extremely distracted by the herd of small animals that are waiting for you out the door because they didn't actually get fed last night.
All
right. You see an entire family of Almirage waiting out there, along with all of your normal farm animals and such. Everybody is just like at the door, and as soon as they see you, there is a cacophony of noises, just pure, utter, disharmonious chaos. And it's loud enough that the three girls awaken quite abruptly.
What?
All right. Here you go, Cheeks. Here's yours. Sly, that's for you. Velma, stop. Damn it. Try to pick one up and it just... Oh.
The three of you are quickly able to catch sight of Bren just like walking through carefully this chaos of animals, trying to lead them away from the main house, spilling grain and nuts and food and such all over the place, which, you are certain there's more than 50 animals that are basically, you're herding him more or less at this point.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Oh, morning.
Mira pulls out her sketchbook and she is doing a little sketch of Bran surrounded by...
Violet walks in the kitchen and starts making coffee.
You can see him, and he's just like, okay. It's just through all of this craziness.
Can I help?
You were supposed to help yesterday.
We were distracted.
Please, just here. And he tosses you a satchel. Just spread it over there. Get him away from the door.
80 joins in the chaos of the two of you seeing to feeding all of these animals. Bren has the wherewithal to be okay, so I'm going on this trip, and you head over to several of the feeding troughs and start prepping them. You know that you're going to have to kind of let them free feed for a while. All
right, 80. Before we do this, we have to wrangle Jeremy.
Who's Jeremy?
You can see it's a larger Almirage over there, and he's kind of grumpy, and he's like, Jeremy has to eat by himself. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. And then it's this Scooby-Doo-esque type thing of chasing Jeremy into a bed.
Oh my God.
Just Hey.
80 struggles, but as she's doing it, you can hear her say, "This is the best day of my life."
At one point, after you guys herd Jeremy into one of his stalls, as grumpy as he is very food oriented. And so once you get him, a good helping of food in front of him, he kind of just hunkers down and every now and then looks up, glaring at you, pointing his little horn in your direction if it looks like you might come close to him to take his food. But it's at that point when you're kind of backing away, basking in the glory that is this enormous Almirage, feeding out of a tiny burlap sack. You spot a trio of super teeny tiny little white and brown fluffball Almirages with the just tiniest little nub of a horn out of their head.
That's Piper, Prue, and Phoebe.
Love them so much.
They're real gentle. Here, do this. Just put a little teeny tiny bit of feed right there, and just hold out your hand. First one's gonna approach you as Piper. It's gonna sting, but that's just her saying hello.
And sure enough, this little tiny fluff ball bounds over to you, stands up on its hind legs to make itself the whole 5 inches tall that it is, and as you move your hands closer, it slams its head down onto your hands with the tip of its little nub. It doesn't hurt, but like it's it trying to assert dominance, and it like pushes your hands down onto the ground so that it can start digging in, and you see it kind of kick out some of the feed in your hand for its two siblings, and the three of them kind of gather around your hands to feed.
Just sounds. Just sounds are happening. That's it.
Looks like you got it out here. I'm gonna go inside real quick. Just make more.
I'm saying out here.
Okay. Everybody up. We're good.
Coffee?
Oh, yes.
Bailey pours coffee for everybody and starts handing it out.
I'm still outside, laying on the ground, with these little baby Almirage crawling on me.
She's gonna be a minute. She's having a good time though. Okay. I would assume at this time, like Miko, I would begin to kind of like map out an idea of where.
Do you wish to explain to your companions at all, 80 absent, but the other two, the endeavor into the Siltwood?
Yeah. So, kind of capitalizing on what Bryn had mentioned the previous night, but in short conversation, he takes a moment to kind of explain a little bit further about the Siltwood. He's like, it's a marshy forest. It's going to be a hard trek through, and there's just dangers around every corner. I mean, first of all, it being cursed, right? We don't know what the secrets of the Siltwood hold. I mean, you've seen my animals. Think of that. Bigger, hungrier, a little bit more dangerous. Are you sure you all want to do this? I mean, it's a vast, overgrown. You all are looking at me with a positive.
It's
okay, fine.
Either this or try not to flunk out of school. So, yep, this is it.
I love that this is the least dangerous of those two paths.
Yeah,
So
like
it's Amira.
Yep.
go through the Siltwood or fail. I'm gonna go through that wood.
Priority.
Aries, yeah.
What can we expect at least? You keep saying like bigger, scarier monsters, but like, is there anything that you know anything that you've seen, anything that we should actually look out for?
And the biggest thing outside of like, you know, your fairy dragons, pseudo dragons, the ambush drakes, there's been many stories, and there's been many times to where adventurers go too deep into the wood, and they're never heard from again. I mean, there's
aren't those just stories? Like, are they just
they're
to
not.
keep
No,
people
they're
out?
not. They're not just stories. People have ventured in and never returned. I just said that. People have gone in and have not come out.
There's a giggle outside from 80. Very cute.
Yeah. Don't expect that. Do not expect that. They're not going to be cute. It's not going to be cute. For you, one positive, and I just looks over. You may be able to find something to bring back to help you maybe not fail. But that should be one of the last things that you worry about. This coffee's good.
That doesn't sound so bad.
Yeah, it'll just disappear forever, I guess.
Yeah, just going into a very dark, dank, cursed wood with all unidentifiable animals that are not that cute, to where you could potentially find something to help you not fail your final. Sure, it's not that bad.
I mean, no, the grim and potential death sounds better than going back to school. So that's where I'm at now.
Okay. Am I missing anything, Miko? Because
No, we'll get to it. Don't worry.
Cool.
So, you all gather up what supplies you have. It takes a considerable amount of effort to pry 80 away from the cuteness of this horde of farm animals and a few perhaps not so generally farm-like animals that might be more native to the forest or to the Siltwood. It takes a lot of effort to get her away from all of that. But you do manage to eventually, shortly after sun's rise, gather yourselves up to begin your journey. You take what supplies that you can. Thankfully for you, you came to a farmstead, so there is an ample amount of food to be had, most of which will actually last in your packs a good, decent while. And as long as you have a good enough campsite, shouldn't provide you any difficulty with feeding yourselves. And you set your way out. Any last minute things before you depart? I'm going to move into kind of a narration sequence here. So any last minute things before you set yourselves out?
Gives that sweet, sweet narrative.
All right, then. The Siltwood is a mysterious and dense marshland forest shrouded in almost perpetual mist. It whispers of secrets of an ancient world unknown to everyone and anyone. The trees here are tall and imposing, with thick trunks covered in moss and vines, creating an evergreen canopy that filters sunlight into a dim emerald glow. The orange and yellows of the twin suns that you're used to are not present here. They are altered by the very nature of the Siltwood itself. The forest floor is soft and springy underfoot, like a blanket of fallen leaves and rich, dark soil. This place is alive with the sounds and feeling of nature around you. Birds chirping from hidden perches, their songs mingling with the rustling of tree and vine and leaf. Small creatures like squirrels, and yes, more almirage, can be seen darting through the underbrush. Monkeys and Tressim, the winged cat-like creature, can sometimes, if you're quick enough with your eyes, be seen flying amongst the canopy. And the occasional deer, perhaps, pauses in a clearing, alert and watchful as you journey your way into this space. There's at first anyway, a sense of harmony here, as if every animal and plant are connected to one another in a almost kind of web, as delicate or alien as that might be for all of you city folk. You feel it nonetheless. But the Siltwood is not just a place of beauty. Thanks to the expertise of your companion and the secrets that he unveils to you, you know that it holds quite a variety of mysteries and dangers. Feral boar, stealthy panthers, powerful and violent bears, and the deadly ambush drake all hunt among the green and fog of the Siltwood. There are even the rare dragonkin, such as pseudo-dragons, as well as fairy and emerald pseudo-dragons and fairy and emerald dragons known here. Travelers often speak of feeling watched, and you can feel it yourselves. It's as if the trees have eyes. You catch yourself glancing over your shoulder furtively every now and then, only to see a tree that you had just passed, unmoving and unyielding in the space, yet giving you this foreboding sensation nonetheless. And indeed, Legends tell of ancient spirits that guard the heart of this forest, protecting secrets long forgotten by the outside world. The mist thickening around you, the deeper that you move in, feels almost strange. And as your daylight hours start to wane, as you move into the afternoon time, it becomes dark much earlier than you would expect, than you're used to anyway. Bryn knows this well and perhaps produces a lantern or a light of some kind to help. But then, as it gets darker, he snuffs it, puts out the light. And you weren't sure why at first. But after a moment, as your eyes adjust, and as the faintest hint of the twin suns still rests somewhere in the skies above you that you cannot see, a strange, luminescent fungi dot the landscape and begin casting an almost eerie glow on the surroundings. And it's at this moment that you feel the reality and the mythical of this place blurring amongst one another. You know that the locals that have dared to venture into the Siltwood to harvest herbs and mushrooms from its edges are very mindful not to venture too deep into this place, as deep as you are going right now. Most respect this thick forest, understanding that it is a place of ancient power, a reminder perhaps of a world that existed long before the Imperium ever did. Yet, to those who do not respect it, they can find themselves facing its deadly allure. And as you make your way through the Siltwood, you remember to tread lightly, to respect the ancient ways of this place. For in this silence of the trees, in the whisper of the leaves, you might just hear echoes of something unknown. And as you begin to feel the heaviness settling upon your shoulders, some of you start thinking, well, perhaps we should make camp. Some of you start wondering when that might be. Bryn, you're thinking, yeah, we can go a little bit, push just a little bit longer. There's still enough light, and the luminescence of this place itself offers enough guidance, especially for you, having been here so many times before. You push just a little bit longer. But then you get a sinking feeling in your chest as you hear a menacing growl from behind you. And that's where we're going to call it tonight, ladies and gentlemen.